You ready?
No.
Oh, well. All right. So, this is kind of like our second retake of a infertility vlog, whatever, you know? So a couple days ago, I posted it on Instagram, this photo, just pretty much saying how, you know, we've been thinking about making a video / vlog process of our infertility journey, and it kind of got a lot of good feedback, I suppose you should say. Yeah. David doesn't have a Instagram, so he doesn't know, but I guess like a few of our friends are dealing with it as well, so but to each their own on if they want to share their journey or not. So first things first, we've been trying to conceive for almost 2 years. Yeah, give or take. Yeah. We've been, you know, on and off trying, but yeah, pretty much for 2 years. And earlier this year in January, I had a surgery for what they thought was a fibroid in my uterus, and so they were assuming that that's what was causing our infertility issues, but it ended up just being like a cyst on my ovaries and like the back of my uterine wall. So we got pregnant like right after that, but by the time we found out we were pregnant, we were like 8 weeks,
something like that.
Yeah. And like right after we found out via the pregnancy test, we had a miscarriage. And then the week after that was the appointment to confirm the pregnancy, which at the time we didn't know we had miscarried until that point. And like when you go in for appointments like that, it's really hard. You know, I went in by myself, and kind of the verbiage that they used is aborted. You know, like you had an abortion, which it's not. It's a miscarriage. So for me, like, it kind of took that personal, because it's like I didn't choose for this to happen. And I mean, to each their own, if you choose to get an abortion or not. Like, I'm not one to judge. That's on you. That's what you choose to do. But like when they said it to me, it stung, you know, because like I don't know how to explain it, but
like you didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening.
Didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. And so again, putting this out there, like, totally up to you, what you do, how you live your life. I'm not one to judge, but that's just something at this time not for me. And so yeah, we had our miscarriage. Fast forward a couple months. Yeah. So our miscarriage happened early April, late March, like right around that time. I had a annual appointment, like with my OB/GYN, in June, and you know, still wasn't pregnant, still not knowing, you know, still having irregular cycles, and you know, his thing is just like, no, it'll happen when it happened, don't rush it. And it's like, I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with my body. You know, he said some things that I really didn't appreciate. So I switched doctors. I went to a new doctor in Vegas, and I just, the minute I sat down with him and like started telling him what was going on, like he had a plan for me, you know. He's like, okay, let's go from here. The first step was I had to have a follow-up appointment in 2 months after that. So I first saw him in August. Follow-up appointment was October. And, he's saying, okay, like, hopefully by the time you come back, you'll be pregnant. And if not, we'll start the steps. Okay, well, now fast forward. It's now October. Not pregnant. I didn't have a cycle for, like, I was super late when I saw him back in August, like a month late. Still didn't have one up until the end of September. So, like, a week before I saw him, I had, like, my cycle. So it's been very interesting, And so when I went in, he goes, all right, you're not pregnant. This is our next step. We on the day 21 of your cycle, which just happened to be, like a few days after my appointment with him. I had to go and get my progesterone levels tested. So I went and got blood work, as well as they do like the cautionary blood pregnancy test. We got a referral for David to, get him tested, because it's normally before they start out any kind of like infertility process, they test both of you out. So me, I have to do blood work, I have to do it HSG, and David just has to get his swimmers tested. So it's just pretty much how it's going. So we have those 2 appointments, Dave's appointment and my HSG appointment at the end of this month of October. So we'll get that done. I should be getting my results for my progesterone levels and like the blood pregnancy test within the next week or so. I mean, like, how has, I guess, like, your feelings and like your experience been through this? Like, how does it make you feel?
Well, I mean, it's totally new for me, because what I've seen from everyone else around us is sometime after they're married, whenever they want, it's just boom, they're pregnant. And it just makes it that much more harder for us, because we've been here for
Almost
married
2 years.
Almost longer than some of these other people that have either just gotten married or have been married just after us, or even just before us, and they're either already have a kid or one on the way or just got pregnant. And so
yeah,
it just kind of makes it a little bit more difficult and a little bit more depressing, at least for me, because we don't have what they have.
Yeah.
And that just makes it so much harder to be able to want to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that. One thing I think I've noticed about myself over the last few months is, like when we were first trying for like the first year and a half, I was buying pregnancy test after pregnancy test after pregnancy test after pregnancy test. I would take one day, it'd say negative, then I'd take one like 2 days later, and it would still be negative, but I would be so upset about it. And, I think it's within these last 4 months where I'm like, I know I'm not. There's no need to take that pregnancy test. There's no point. And when I do take them and I do get the results, I'm not disappointed like I was before, so
there might be a little bit of
like a little heartache, but like I'm not beating myself up over it like I used to, like,
because it's something out of our control at this moment, and until we understand what's going on, then we can go from that point and be able to figure out how to fix it.
Yeah.
So that we can have what everyone else is having.
Yeah. And, it's hard, but infertility is super common. So common, just not talked about as much, so, like, I don't know, I guess I'm just tired of being asked 24/7, so I think that's why I've also decided to, like, make this video, is so I can be like, oh, just look at my video kind of thing, instead of, like, answering everyone's 1,000,001 questions. But also I think I wanted to do this also to, like, document our process, like, whatever routes we have to go, whether it, like, we naturally conceive, or if we have to do, like, an IUI or IVF or a surrogate or just adopt, to just have our family, like, I think it'd be good just to, like, have it documented, I don't know. How do you feel about it? Like, starting the vlog, documentation, whatever.
I do think doing this kind of thing might be a little bit easier in the sense that it's out there, on the internet and everything for people to look at, so that way you're not reminded every day as to, oh, you look pregnant, but are you?
Yeah.
And so then that just kind of, like, makes you feel even worse than they intended to make you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not their fault that they meant it that way.
Yeah.
They didn't mean to ask it and make you feel a certain way about your situation.
No, definitely.
It's just that that's your hand that's been dealt you. And so it just makes it that much harder for people like us to be able to even want to go through it when people are constantly bombarding us with, oh, when are you having kids, why don't you have kids yet, or why do you not want to be parents, or things like that. So.
And I also think, like, us doing this is also to, like, who knows, like, whoever is to stumble across, like, our videos, like, maybe we can help them, or give them a little sense of hope or faith, like,
or inspire others to share their stories.
Yeah, like, so yeah, definitely. So so let me explain some things that I've talked about like progesterone and what is that. So progesterone is a steroid hormone released by the corpus luteum that stimulates the uterus to prepare for pregnancy. And so that usually happens about day 21 of your cycle. And it's kind of also the hormone that helps keep your pregnancy going. It's that hormone that is to have for to just keep your pregnancy going, and just to,
so that we're not miscarriaging every other month.
Yeah. Or whenever. So we're looking to see if I'm lacking that extra hormone in my body during that time, during that date of cycle. And then an HSG is, so essentially what they do, or what it is a x-ray test to outline the internal shape of the uterus and show whether the fallopian tubes are blocked. So in an HSG, a thin tube is threaded through your vagina and your cervix. So it kind of starts off like you're getting your annual exam, apparently. And then they stick a tube up through you and through your cervix, and then they blow a balloon up to kind of open up your cervix, and then they put the dye in. to go through everything. It's to just make sure to see if there's anything clogged. So then they take x-rays to see if there's anything clogged, if there's anything stuck, you know, make sure like everything's open, and it kind of just clears you out also. And it helps, so like afterwards it also increases your chances of fertility, or increases your chances of conceiving right after it, because you're supposed to do it right before your ovulation time, so like day 7 to day 10 of your cycle, because then you start to ovulate like between day 12 to 16, something crazy like that. And then so they just take x-rays to make sure everything's open. So yeah, something we get to look forward to. And then the test that David has to do is and mobility, so it's like his sperm count. Essentially what it is like how well like your sperm moves, how much you're producing in one sitting, and just, you know, just to see where the issue of infertility is coming from. Is it coming from the male side, or is it coming from, you know, the female side of the situation? And so, you know, my doctor says that if everything comes back normal of all 3 of the tests, 4 of the tests that we take, that the next step is Clomid. And so we'll dig a little bit more into Clomid, if that is one of the steps we have to take. You know, I think that can be for one of our next videos. Like, what do you think, Dave?
Oh yeah, if Clomid is the route that we have to go, then I definitely for sure think that we should explain it in another video.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, then in another video we explain that
The different type of treatments, maybe.
that, or mention that if something else is starting to work or does work,
Mm-hmm.
then we can either still explain Clomid, but not go into great detail about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's ultimately up to the people who want to know about it.
Yeah.
Who don't.
So, one of my things that I have been doing that, well, my doctor has told me that I need to do is I used to take a high dose of antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds. And so one of my things that I had to do starting back in August is just slowly retract on all of that, on the meds, so as of like last week, I am now on no antidepressants, no anti-anxiety meds, which is really hard. I'm trying to learn how to live with and find other ways to deal with my depression and my anxiety, because I have it really, really bad. And so that has been super hard to deal with also, on top of the infertility, but also cutting off my meds. I had to do it slowly, but so far I've been doing really good, except for some days. Gosh, don't look so sad in your videos. Another thing that I've been doing, I've been taking prenatals for the last year. For the last year and a half, just to kind of kickstart my body into getting the extra vitamins that it needs, and plus it doesn't hurt to take them, because
it definitely helps.
It helps. So, and another thing I take, which I've had some people recommend to me, because they've sworn up and down by it. I haven't so far seen a difference with it, but it's called chaseberry. And apparently it's like the Viagra for women. And, like, some people that have told me about it have said, like, oh yeah, I've had miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage, and then I started taking the chaseberry, and within like a month or two, I'm pregnant. Well, I'm going on like almost month 4, and so I'm like, maybe it's not the thing for me. And like, of course, we're not saying like, oh, go and do all the things that we're doing, because like, definitely talk to your doctor about it first. But also you need to, if you want to try it, like, again, not everything's going to work for everyone. So, like, one of the reasons why I had to go off my antidepressants and my anti-anxiety meds is because, you know, when you're in that first 12 weeks, like your first trimester, it increases your chances for miscarriage, because you have a really high chance of miscarriage during that first trimester, but also because we've already gone through the miscarriage before, it like triples our likelihood of another one, on top of already the like statistics for the miscarriage within the first 12 weeks. So my doctor has said that after I've hit that 12-week mark, like, I can go back onto my meds if I need to. I also, on some days, if I absolutely need to, I'm allowed to take like the lowest dose of the meds that I'm on. Which so far, you know, like I said, I've been off of them for like a month now, and not a month, like a week, sorry. For like a week now. I haven't really needed them yet, so we're seeing how it's gonna go. And you know, like, you could always take the, like, the, what are they called, like the herbal stuff, so like the St. John's wort, the B12, like all of that doesn't hurt to take because it's the natural stuff as well. And it's just like extra vitamins that you can take. It doesn't really hurt, you know, because it's not the chemical stuff like the prescribed by your doctor or whatever. So it's more of the natural supplements, there we go, which is also safe to take. Another thing, what is the other thing? Caffeine. He's told me to cut out caffeine. So, I mean, I've already sort of cut out caffeine. I have it once in a blue moon, like twice a month maybe. I'll have like a regular Diet Coke or a Coke Zero. But for the majority, I've just been drinking like Diet Coke caffeine free or Dr. Pepper caffeine free. Because it still kind of tricks my body into thinking I'm drinking caffeine, but I'm not, if that makes sense. And sleep, like, I guess, although one big thing also to like do is like make sure you sleep well, and that goes for both sides, you know, because lack of sleep and depression and anxiety are like, and your diet are big factors also in fertility loss. So like, we've slowly been also changing our diet and how we do things. You know, we do the St. John's wort, the B12. What else do you do?
That's it for me.
That's it, yeah.
Probably should be taking some other things, because I've heard that the saffron extract.
Yeah, saffron extract
helps
works
as well. I haven't been taking that, so I might
yeah.
actually start taking that, and then like, if there's any effects, like, mention it in a future video, you know.
Yeah, and so like, yes, and stress. One thing I've been trying to do the most that I noticed, like, that I wasn't doing before is not stressing about not being pregnant. Not stressing about why isn't it happening to me. I've just been, more so in the last few months, going with the flow of things, I guess you could say. I don't know. I guess my whole outlook has changed also because I'm with a doctor who's actually listening and actually cares about what I say, and I'm not saying like, oh, just up and leave your current doctor that you're with if you're like, but you need to do what's best for you. Like, put yourself into a situation that would be best for you and for a doctor who listens to your needs. Like, that's the most important thing, is you don't want just like a fly by the guy kind of doctor, someone who barely spends 5 minutes with you. You want one that like actually cares about what you say and everything. So luckily that's what we found in both our primary care doctor and like the OBGYN we're with, so it's perfect. And yeah, so I guess that's all I really have to say for now. I don't know. It's kind of like our take 2 of making this video. I think I like it more this time than the previous one we made. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to add, David? As I talked the whole time. Sorry.
Not anything that comes to mind. Don't be.
Okay. But yeah, we'll definitely be putting, more videos out, depending on
what new information becomes available to us.
Definitely our steps, our process, everything, and more so just to let people know, what's going on,
Don't be afraid to talk about your infertility.
Yeah, and like, if you have any questions for us, like, let us know. Like, we'd be more than happy to answer questions, that we can. I mean, again, like, we're still new at this. Like, we're still, like, going through the motions, and like, all we really want to do is just help another couple out, another person out, whether
their situation is almost exactly the same or somewhat similar,
or they're struggling for their second kid, or they're struggling for their third or fourth or fifth. You never know. Infertility doesn't just happen your first try at having family. It could happen like your third or fourth or fifth time, so who knows. Honestly, it's such a broad subject. Huge subject, but yeah, huge subject, but happens so many different ways, so I mean, who knows where this may take us, but I mean, this is our plan that we have for now, and this is kind of our situation that we're dealing with now, and we'll see what happens within the next year. So hopefully we'll have a little baby, or hopefully we'll be in the process of adopting or something to start our family. We never know. Like, we don't have those things laid out yet, so once we know, you'll know, and once you'll know, you can ask us anything you want. So, I mean, again, we're just doing this to share our story and see if others want to share their story with us. More so like, what did others do to help them? Like, we're open to suggestions, we're open to advice. Like, I don't think we would be here right now, like, starting this process, if we didn't take the advice of others and doing, like, what we can do for us. So,
Definitely.
yeah. But we hope to see you in the next video. But thanks for watching, guys.